Hey there. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of The Charging Station. I am here with Scott Hickson for this episode, a new episode of This Is Us. I really enjoy getting to hear the stories. And you know what? I was talking with you and your wife, Renee, the other day, and she said she looks forward every Wednesday night to see who's going to be on there. She's going to be really surprised now.
She will be very surprised.
That is great. So you want to give her a shout out while we're doing that?
Yeah, I love you, beautiful. I wanted to surprise you today. Pastor called me yesterday to set up this event, and now you're 7 o'clock every Wednesday night. This one will be really special for you. Love you.
Oh, I love it. Now, you just set it up, and you can see in the backdrop behind us, we've got the Defy the Odds. We're actually starting our life groups this week, and we're doing the book study on this subject by Pastor Benny Tate. You guys are at a place in your life that you probably never thought you would be. And are you comfortable sharing a little bit about what you and Renee in particular are going through right now?
Yeah, yes, I am. You want me to go ahead and get started?
Let's do it.
It all started just real quickly on February 23rd. Renee was having chest pains and called me at work and said, I think something's wrong. And next thing I know, she's at the hospital at noon. And we were just thinking possible heart attack or something of that nature.
Yeah.
And the guy comes out after 8 hours of sitting at the hospital here in Brunswick that we believe you have leukemia. And it was just a shock. You know, she's perfectly healthy, comes out of nowhere. They don't know why.
All in one day.
One day, 6
now,
in the morning.
She
felt
had
good the night before.
So things just popped up literally.
Right. The platelets, we were told, started dropping rapidly. She started bruising that morning, and then we wanted to go home. It's like, okay, you know, we have leukemia. You're not going home. You're going straight to a leukemia center, somebody who can treat you, because you might not make it till tomorrow.
Okay. Now, one thing I know about you, Scott, and we've known you for years, so you tell it just like it is. But in that moment, what's going through your mind?
I think we were both in disbelief. When they said we couldn't go home, and they started calling different hospitals, hoping a bed, you know, and I think we were just shocked. We were in disbelief. It didn't really hit us at that point. It hit me when he started calling, well, Mayo's full, MD Anderson's full. I'm going to call Memorial in Jacksonville, and if they can't get you in, you're either going to Atlanta or Augusta. And we were like, oh my gosh. And then when I was falling, luckily one bed left at Memorial. We thank the Lord every day for that, because it has made a difference in the world. We actually got a leukemia doctor, an oncologist who had a good friend at Mayo, and got us in. I mean, it was like God was working from the very moment. I'm getting kind of emotional.
Wow.
You look back and you see the miracles and just go, wow, because someone said, well, Memorial's not a great place to go. You should wait to go somewhere else. And there was no option.
Yeah,
if we wouldn't have had that one bed, we'd have been in trouble.
You know, and you made a good point right there, that looking for those miracles, and you see them now, because I'm sure that as in February to where we are right now, it's been those experiences that has given you strength, because it's not always been easy since that time.
No.
Your world changes instantly.
I mean, it just totally changes all priorities. I mean, I didn't care about anything else. She doesn't remember the first 2 weeks at Memorial. I mean, she was so out of it. They doubled her dosage. The doctor came in and said, there's chemo pills they can give you. And I just wanted to let you know, we're going to double the amount we normally give, because I'm afraid she might not make it through the night. I have to take this risk. And I went. And it's amazing. I'm glad I've come to the Lord, because I went into the bathroom and started praying, you know,
Wow.
And then doctor came out, and I was like, is it that serious? He goes, it's that serious. I would call, if you have any children, to tell them to get here as soon as possible, which is a nice way to say, we're not so sure she's going to make it.
Exactly.
So
now here you are, all of this is happening. It's progressing very, very quickly. It's going through. And I remember, because I wasn't even in the country. And heard word about it.
Texted us, which was amazing. You don't know how much power you have, or through the Lord, when you texted her and she's like, he's in Israel and he's concerned about me. Yeah. That was a bright moment for both of us.
Well, for me, I felt so helpless in the moment, because it's one thing and you know, oftentimes the caregivers like yourself are the ones that are overlooked, but even the ones who aren't there, because now Olivia, your daughter, was she in town at the time?
No, she was at nursing school. And again, who God works these miracles, because she was going to go to Kennesaw State, which is 6 hours away, decided to go to Augusta, which is only 3 hours. And they were nice enough to let her come down. And I don't know how she did it. She was taking care of Renee during the day and taking online exams at night, but they were nice enough to let her do it and then make up her clinicals when she got back.
Wow.
So she learned more about nursing in those 2 weeks than actually at nursing school.
I'm sure that it brought different meaning even to the career choice of being a nurse during that time.
Yes. I think she likes working in like a stem cell transplant environment. She's already mentioned that she'll be trying. She's already done that and watched a stem cell transplant up in Augusta. So it has really changed her outlook, I believe, on what she wants to do in nursing.
Wow. Well, fast forward, if you will, Scott. We're looking at the first diagnosis of things to kind of where we are now. And what has that process been like in the meantime?
At first, you're like, we could do this. You just start taking it day by day. I've heard Kathy when she was on here, and and bless Kathy and Brad. I hate that they're going through this, but it helps us because those two talk all the time. Brad texts me all the time. But you start to wear down. I always thought, when I listened to the quotes in the Bible and you talking, that everybody was, they know that's going to make it. I'm going to wait 80 years for the child. I'm not good at all the quotes, people. I'm new.
Yeah.
But I know they had to have moments where they just were ready to give up.
Yeah.
And we've had those. Renee's like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not going to do another bone marrow biopsy. But we just go day by day by day. And the miracles happen, such as Rhonda able to come down and help. So shout out to Rhonda Martin.
Good.
Some other friends have come down, and just people calling and texting all the time. But the miracle for us was, because it's overwhelming, the amount of information you get on the donor and all that, was when the doctor came back and said, I'm amazed we got a donor this fast. We got 2 of them, which is not the norm. And both are perfect 12 out of 12 matches. So we can't get any better for an allogenic stem cell transplant from another human. And we were just like, wow. But now she's gotten the stem cell transplant, and it's been about 12 days afterwards. The blood's dropped where she has no white blood cells, but it sounds bad, but it's exactly progressing the way the doctors want it to do. They said it couldn't be any better.
Yeah, that whole thing. And I've tried to not ask too many questions. I know you are overwhelmed by people and all of that, but it has been mind blowing to me. My first thing is she needs a donor. So I'm okay. Sign me up. Let me know. And it doesn't work that way.
No,
because you go into some kind of bank. But then whenever this went down, it was, and help me with this, because it was not only a perfect match on everything, but normally they allow up to 8 bags and she only needed 1.
Right.
And it was fresh, not frozen.
Yeah, you've heard all the things we said. Yeah, it's very interesting. I feel like I've learned a little bit about stem cell transplants for leukemia, but it is. They go out and get a donor that's the match. They told us we're trying to get, there's like 12 different things they look for on the chromosomes, and they try to get 9 out of 12. So to get 2 people that were 12 out of 12 was unbelievable. And it's not by blood. It's a whole bunch of DNA characteristic factors that go into that. But then when they said the donor is given medicine to pump stem cells in their blood and then for them to ship to us, they said the donor had such a great reaction to the medicine that usually we want 2.5 million stem cells per bag. This male or female, they don't tell you, produced 7 million.
Oh my goodness.
So more than they need. We're not even going to have to give you 8 bags. We're going to give you 1 bag and hold the others in reserves. And that's all we've needed so far.
Yeah.
It's just nonstop. And I've never seen anybody. She's the power behind all of this. She has never, she's gotten down a couple times, but she's actually preaching to all the doctors. I think we told you the story when they're like, people were coming by her room, and one in the pharmacy in Memorial said, "Oh, you're the Christian that's brightening everybody's day." And he wasn't a Christian, but she prays for everybody. She prays over the bag. She's unbelievable.
It's and now you're going to mess me up.
Yeah.
Because here we have, 2 people in the congregation that are leaders in the church that are facing very similar struggles. At different times, I think Renee mentioned that to me the other day. There's moments where Kathy's up and things are going better for her, and it's down for Renee, and then now it seems to have flip flopped somewhat. But yet the faith is still there, even though it wanes at times. I'm sure that's just being real. But to know that the light of Christ still shines through tells me something. It tells me that it's inside to begin with.
I'm the one who have to pull on her strength, which is really can be aggravating for me. So we talked about quotes that before we started this, that quotes from the Bible, and mine is Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you. All you need be is still, because I can get so wound up out of shape. Like, why her? She's the one who's always prayed. But there is no rhyme or reason. I'm learning that there is no rhyme or reason why people get sick in many cases. And it's, the faith that gets you through it.
Yeah.
And like you said, the world is sinned, and that's sin. They brought sin into the world. I have to think about it like that, and then God will find your way out of it.
Yeah,
it's not her fault. That's the first thing she did, and you asked me about that, Pastor. Was starting questioning, what have I done to deserve this? And I was like, nothing. But you were aware that would be a question she would ask.
I did, and knew, just knowing her and her mind, and we're saying all this, and she's looking forward to the day that she'll get to be up here and tell the story herself. So we're just jumping to the chase a little bit before that. We threatened to do a live broadcast.
Right.
And so, well, I've got some questions for you, but before we do that, give us a final update on how she's doing today, and then what the future looks like heading from here.
Okay, she's like at day 12 after the stem cell. So they said about that time between day 12 and day 15 is when the chemo is really going to hit. Your blood levels will be their lowest. So she did get a blood transfusion today and a platelet transfusion yesterday, and those numbers are good today.
Okay.
But they want 0 for the white blood cells. And then in the next 3 days, pretty sick, then they should start seeing them come back up. And that's a sign that the new stem cells have entered the bone marrow and are reproducing. So that's what we're counting on. And then her finally getting out, and we get to go to the lodge. She still has 100 days where she has to stay down in Jacksonville.
Once she gets to the lodge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's still in the hospital now, but then she'll be going to an off-site center, basically, and we'll be there for 100 days.
100 days.
The goal for all of this is we're looking to be home by Christmas.
Yes, that's her thing. She sings that every morning. I want to be home by Christmas, and God bless us there, because not everybody gets into the lodge, and it's free. It's no cost to us. And so we're near here, so people can come down and volunteer to help take care of her.
This whole thing, and I don't want anybody to go through it, but just to see the hand of God in the middle of it has been really, really amazing to me. When I've heard this, and I can only put it in my mind, is the only way I can do it. That's why I like hearing from your perspective, because it's not necessarily a church perspective. It is the Scott perspective, and I like that and appreciate that. But the words is that her counts have to go down, the other person's has to go up. And spiritually speaking, I'm thinking about John the Baptist, that when Jesus came on the scene, he made the comment, I must decrease and Christ must increase in my life. So what I've been taking away from this, and I haven't said anything to you guys about it, but what I've been thinking about this with what she's going through is, Lord, I must decrease in this situation. In my life, it's got to be less about me, and it's got to be more and more and more about you. And that's one of the positive takeaways that I've had through this experience, as you've allowed us to journey with you on it. And we're honored to be at that place. But let's just get real. How have you processed all of this spiritually? And then also as a husband, as a caretaker, how are you processing all this?
Well, as a husband and a caretaker, started off with a lot of motivation. I'm still motivated, but there's a sense of guilt that comes into play whenever you leave her. So, for instance, I was supposed to stay last night, but after staying all day, half day Saturday, all day Sunday, all day Monday, then driving to work Tuesday morning, leaving straight from there at 4:30 in the morning, she said, "You don't have to come back tonight. I know you're exhausted," which I was.
Yeah.
I know she wants me to be there, but I had to listen to her, and I prayed on it. And it was like, I'm useless if I don't get some sleep. So it really wears you down. And spiritually, it's been tough for me, only in that My wife is at a level now, spiritually. She has really risen. If you think she was on fire before at the church, get ready when she gets back. That's all I got. That's what she always says. And sometimes she, I think she looks at me sometimes and doesn't quite see I'm with her yet up there. It's part of worn out. It's part of, are we taking the right path? It's trying to keep the people that are negative, that are still out there about her doing this process. But I'm at a good place.
The whole thought of that is amazing to me. And we're not going to have time to get into a lot of that. But to even hear you say that statement, I've heard you make so many statements since we've been on this episode about you praying, about you searching scripture, about you seeing her and that you're at a good place because the Lord has you. That's not always been your story.
No, this would have been, before I got saved, even married to Renee, I would have been incredibly upset and angry about this situation, that it's not fair. I would have been, I would have been saying things probably not to her when she was in this situation, but in the back of my head, like, you worship a God that lets this happen to you, and all you've done is worshiped him faithfully. But now, thanks to people working on me in the church, every day I came in here, the pastor and Renee, there's more to it than that. It's so egocentric to think like that to me. Yeah. And you start to realize that there's just going to be things that happen in the world, and it's the Lord that'll get you through it. He doesn't want it to happen. It just does. But if you search for him, he will get you through the process. It's to me, it's like riding in a boat and it gets all rocky. The people the prophets didn't believe him, or the disciples. I'm in that rocky boat right now, but I believe he's going to get us through it. There's just too many miracles that are coming. Yeah. Perfect donor, one bag. The first oncologist was friends with the stem cell transplant gentleman at Mayo and got us in one day. I mean, yeah.
And you've had setbacks along the way.
Oh, yes.
There's been difficulties along the way.
Right.
Because the people that are listening to this and watching this, I want to let them know the reality of, yes, from the day of the diagnosis to what you're experiencing right now, there's been rocky times through that.
Yes. The diagnosis, having to stay in Memorial for 30 or 40 something days. When she first got to Mayo, they immediately put her in the emergency room. It slowed the process down by 3 weeks. Yeah. I don't want people to think that God takes you down this path and it's just going to be nice and smooth. It's just, I think he gets you to focus on the positive results. You just got to trust in the process, which I never did before coming to church. I'm going to fight this process. I'll make it happen. And that's why I do the Exodus 14:14. I have no power here at all, but he has all the power. So I trust in him to get it, to do what he thinks is right.
And you may not even realize this right now, but Scott, I feel that sense the presence of the Lord so strongly because you are talking to somebody who is listening to this, that's struggling through a situation, and what you're saying right there. Now, here is the New Living Translation of that. If I can see it through the cloudiness of my eyes. But Exodus 14:14, one of those that's easy to remember as far as the location of it, but also the words itself. The Lord himself will fight for you. Just stay calm. You have to tell yourself that over and over.
I have to tell myself every morning because I can get really fired up. But it's probably the two reasons. One, I love the quote, but 14:14 and it's short helps me.
Yes, it does.
I had to learn to let go, which when I was saved that day in here, I had to learn to let go, which I think many people do. That I can solve anything, I can fix everything. And there's just things that are outside of your power. And I just know that the Lord can fix anything he wants to. It's bigger than all of us. And I know he's working in the right direction. There's just, even though we've meandered, there were reasons for the meandering. I mean, when we didn't get in, when we got stalled for 3 weeks, we were upset because you want to get in there and get this process started. Yeah. But the doctors who've been trained, God made sure we had the best doctors. We had Mayo said you weren't ready. The chemo could kill you. And it was, if it weren't for them, we would have said, let's go for it, if it was just on us. So God works his plan at his own time.
Yeah, he does. And, just the thought, and again, I'm wanting to hit this because I feel people struggling with it. You have to tell yourself to stand on the word of God that says, just be calm because the Lord's fighting for you. Oftentimes we do that because we're not calm, because we are worked up. And so the reason that it's there is the word was spoken in the first place because he understood the fact that, wait a minute, we're going to be upset about this and we need to be reminded to trust him and to stay calm in the midst of it. It's not easy.
No, and that's a great point. You don't make good decisions when you're in the middle of the storm and you're angry. I mean, you don't make good decisions. They're not rational. They're emotional. So if you can just stay calm and let the Lord take it, the right decision will come. The God will put the right decision on your heart. That's how I think it's. And we've had to tell some members of the family, and Renee will talk about this. At this point in time, we don't need you in the room for various reasons. I'm not going to get into that, but we had to just step back from the anger or a text and say, all right, what's the right decision, and pray on it. And the Lord has given us the right decision so far.
It sounds like through this that there has been a lot of praying, which is obvious, but I'm seeing and hearing from you that there are specific prayers that have come, and it's not just, okay, God, take away the leukemia.
Right.
That prayer is there. But Lord, guide us through this process. God, help us in this particular situation. And it's those prayers that all add up to the ultimate healing.
Yes.
But it is, okay, Lord, I need you every step of the way.
I agree with that. There are prayers, please heal us from leukemia, but we're not really focused on that. It's just, please take us on the right path and give us the wisdom to know when you're speaking to us or when we're coming at it from our own processes, which is monumental. And what is it? The 3 binds you stronger than 2.
Yep.
With the Lord, Renee and I have become closer than we ever could possibly be.
Yeah.
She's my shining light. I don't know what I would do without her. She gets down because she's lost a lot of weight and her hair is shorter or whatever, but she's more beautiful than ever. And there's a light that comes from within her that, I'm kind of losing it.
No, you're doing good. And we thank you for being with us at this episode tonight, all of you that are watching this. And our prayer is that God will speak into your life and let Exodus 14:14 be one of those life verses for you, like it is right now for Scott and Renee during this time. I echo what you're saying. I think I snuck up on her the other day.
Yeah, you did. You surprised her. She loved it.
So she was talking with the nurses and all that, walking around outside, but she does look good. But can you tell us just real quick, is there anything that we can do for somebody that's listening and says, okay, what can we do for Scott and Renee? I know it's not possible for everybody to go down there and all that, but what can somebody do?
Well, I know, and there's just been an outpouring. She has a giant, we text all the members, the male members on one text and the female members on the other text every day, give them a morning update or an evening update. And I know people are reaching out and want to do a lot. The best thing I can say is just have her in your prayers and pray.
Yeah.
We don't need food. We don't need gas. We don't need anything like that. We just need prayer. Yeah. And I know people are, because we're getting miracles. So, we're getting miracles every day.
Well, here it goes. This is how you can pray. God, show me how to pray for Scott and Renee.
Yes.
Because there are, she's sitting in a room and, I'm sure it'll be closing in, but just ask God to show you how to pray.